Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live segment. I'm really excited. We have an amazing guest for you today. I always love to give people access and really visibility into the variety of vegan entrepreneurs, business owners, and people who are just changing the world and making it better. So I'm so excited to have our guest today, Patricia Campana, also known as the Bariatric Vegan. And what we're going to do today is not only dig into Patricia's background, but really talk about how Patricia is helping the world, how she's helping people through issues as far as weight loss, as far as understanding the food they're eating, and also really just helping people, especially through many of us have been struggling this last year because there's been a lot going on in the world. I can't wait to pick Patricia's brain to find out what recommendations not only has she given to her clients, but also maybe some recommendations for many of us out there as we are kind of juggling a lot these days. So first, let me just say welcome, Patricia. Thank you for being here and joining us live.
Thank you for welcoming me here, Stephanie. It's a pleasure. I've been following you for a long time, and I'm really honored that you're having me.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to have you. I know we have chit-chatted on and off. It's always fun when I get a chance to interview and talk to someone. And also, I follow what you're doing, so it's so fun when I can show our audience all the great things that you're doing in the world. So before we dive into your background, before we dive into really kind of where you arrived today, let's give everyone a little bit of a glimpse into your world, what you do, maybe give them the quick elevator speech in a sense of what you do and how you help change the world. How do you help people on a day-to-day basis?
Okay. I do a couple of things. My latest endeavor is being the bariatric vegan coach, trying to start my own business. I went to the Main Street Vegan Academy 2019 and came back and was all gung-ho, ready to go with my business. And COVID hit and I still had to have a job. So my other job is I'm a psychotherapist. So I'm in a small group private practice and see a variety of clients, and not everybody is vegan, but I always have vegan in the back of my brain. When we talk about diet, when we talk about, moods and how food can affect how you feel. If you're eating crap, you're going to feel like crap. So that's my day job. With the coaching, I can go into my background. I had bariatric surgery in 2012, and I was not vegan at the time. And there was no support for it. As I decided I wanted to become vegan, started to do research because there just isn't that support. I found Dr. Garth Davis, and I struggled trying to figure it out myself. And in the process, unfortunately, I was eating a lot of junk vegan food, and I gained some weight back. And had a revision 2 years ago. There's my cat.
Oh, hey,
Katie. So that's what's inspired me to help people on this journey, people who have had the surgery, people who are thinking of having the surgery. How can I help you now? It's not an easy journey. Bariatric surgery is certainly not an easy way out. That's really why I do what I do, just because there still isn't a lot of information out there.
And I think that's important. I think a lot of times when we think of vegan businesses, when we think of the support that people need, we have a kind of traditional lane. Okay, I want to eat vegan. I want to change. But the idea of being able to do that and couple it with surgery, being able to do that when you're going through, surgery can be very difficult. It's a very transformative process in itself. And being able to kind of couple that with going vegan and, into your point, going vegan in a healthy way that's supports the surgery that you're doing, I think is really key. And I think we're not always thinking about how there's, these places that we can help people live better lives. And I think it's not only exciting to hear that you're doing that and kind of using, your training and bringing it into our vegan world, but also the idea that you're really trying to create not only a support system through the surgery, but helping people post-surgery, helping people stay on the path that they desire to be on. And it's great to hear that you've been doing that coaching. Now, let's talk about how it's been with everything going on. I think one of the challenges, with last year and even as we roll into this year, there's been so much uncertainty. There's so much, going on in the world. How have you kind of juggled of your world, being a therapist and also being a coach and just generally keeping your well-being?
Yes. Well, everything shifted this year. It's like I do telehealth now. So I'm on the camera, seeing clients, and that has been a shift. I do a lot of expressive arts therapies. So I'm not in the room with my clients. How do we do movement? How do we do art? So it's been a big shift. Being home all day, working from home, not being able to go out. So doing a lot of my own self-care, trying to eat well, same struggles that everybody else is having. People are either going to alcohol, to food, to drugs. And how do we stay healthy? How do we keep a good balance through this? It's been a whole year.
Yes, throughout the whole year, I think it's the key. Now, I know for some of us like me, I've been working on my morning routine to help me kind of de-stress and jump into my day. I've been working through different kind of ways to manage my day. Do you have any tips, or do you have your own kind of morning regimen or process that you're willing to maybe share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, what I share with my clients too, that are, struggling at home and depressed, and let's get a routine. So for me, when I wake up, the first thing I like to do is I grab my gratitude journal and I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. Even if it's looking out my window, the tree that's outside here, grateful I woke up today, grateful that I can help people. So I do that. I may do some stretching. My dance teacher has been great throughout all of this. She does a morning stretch first thing in the morning over Zoom. So I've been doing that. And then I get to work, and, I take those breaks during the day. I'm sitting all day, the work is intense. Get up, take a walk. I live on a golf course, so I'll go out and walk for a few minutes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Drink lots of water, eat good food.
Yes, 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 yes. It sounds like you're getting a good flow, like many of us are aspiring to do as well. Now, help me with, we always love to talk about the business side of things. Building a business is hard work. Building a business takes a level of resilience, consistency, and all those things. And even with all the stars aligned, sometimes I feel like, building a business is about building character. So you have to stumble a little bit along the way. So what's been your experience with building your coaching business? What's been your experience with blending, veganism into your therapy work? What have you learned along the way, and what has maybe made you stronger, or also maybe made your business stronger?
Oh, great question. Like I said, I graduated the academy in 2019, was ready to go gung ho. Did a lot of training with you. You've really spoken into my life. And I've never been in business. I've always worked in the corporate world. I worked for other people. So starting a business is brand new for me. So getting the website up, taking classes, taking advice, and stumbling, constant stumbling and wanting to give up, thinking, I can't do this. I've got this other job here. Why am I doing this? But this is so important. People need me. So it's what I tell my clients too. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. So I do, one of the great things you told me was just pick a time, even if it's 1 hour. So I devote a specific time to the business.
Love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And in that way, you're getting a balance. Because I think, like you were saying, I think sometimes people feel like they have to shift to these businesses, they have to drop everything. And the reality is, some of it, we have financial responsibilities. The other is, I'm sure you have clients that you're taking care of. And then also, I feel like there's a great opportunity to ease our way into a business. When I started my business, I did jump in, the deep end of the of the pool. But what I've learned over the years, and even as I launch new things, that it is better to kind of take the stairs into the pool, to just walk in and, like you're saying, do 1 hour at a time, and kind of keep building from there, so that you build something that you really believe in and build something that's strong.
Yeah, and I help friends and family too, even if I'm posting a recipe, on Facebook. Talking to my family has been so receptive. When I went to New York, I thought, oh my God, what is this going to be like coming back as a vegan? And they were so welcoming and they were so open to things I had to say. So, speaking into people's lives about, I do it for the animals, I do it for my health. And that also doesn't have to be all or nothing. I've helped people like, just one meal a day or one day a week, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Yeah, we'd love the world to all be vegan, but do what you can.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And how do you, I'm just going to ask you, maybe because of your background, how do you approach the topic even with some of your clients or even if your family members? Because I think for a lot of new vegans, a lot of people who are going vegan or even people who are starting businesses, we're so excited that we want everyone to go vegan tomorrow or yesterday that our approach sometimes can, make people uncomfortable. What's your thoughts or recommendations, or how do you approach these discussions, maybe with individuals?
Yeah, great. That's a great question. I know everybody, we all have our vegan walk, and some people have that line in the sand. I'm more meeting people where they're at, just like I do with my clients. Where are you? If I go out to eat with people, I'm not judgmental. If they're eating, it's hard to see people eating animals, but I've been told by people that they really like my approach and they appreciate that I'm not pushy, and not in their face about it. And, I draw the line in my home. You can't bring anything in here that's non-vegan, but but yeah, I just try to meet people where they're at and give information, show them, pictures of, I volunteer at a sanctuary and I share pictures of the animals and tell their stories. And yeah.
I like that about telling their stories. I think a lot of times when we're trying to help people understand why we've gone vegan, especially for the animals, we forget that how how story can really compel, how telling a story of, many of these animals and what their lives are like and so forth, that sharing becomes more of a sharing experience as opposed to a lecture. So I really like that you mentioned that.
And that is my vegan story. I've only been vegan for about 4 years now, and I visited the sanctuary, took a tour, and heard their stories. And I was vegetarian, but one of those I'll never give up cheese people. And I met this beautiful dairy cow at the farm, Gracie Lou, who was saved from slaughter. She wasn't producing milk, and they had no use for her. So I heard her story And I heard the horrors of the dairy industry, and that was it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Now, do you ever feel for a lot of people who have businesses, especially people who have existing businesses, and they try to incorporate veganism in, they get a little bit worried that they might turn off their clients, that their clients may not continue with them because they may feel like, you're coming in strong. Have you found a way to manage that? Do you have any recommendations for anyone else who's thinking of maybe their therapist themselves and bringing in some of those conversations into their therapy? Do you have any recommendations on the best?
Don't use the V word. That's first, and I'll tell you something interesting. I had a new client last week, and I'm sure people Google you. They want to know who you are, and we were doing the intake, and she started to cry. She said, "I still have food issues." She said, "But I know you're vegan and I'm not vegan." And it's like, "How do you know I'm vegan?" And she Googled me and found bariatric vegan. And it's like, just making it okay. It's okay. You don't have to be vegan. We can address the food issues and your weight issues. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, because I wondered how I think a lot of times people are nervous about that conversation. Now
Mhm.
I completely understand what you mean. There's all these debates about when do you say vegan or plant-based or when do you just
Right.
address the issue. And like you said, in my personal life, I'm vegan all the way. I'd wear t-shirts and all the way down to my socks, it could say vegan for me. But I understand when I'm having a conversation with someone, a lot of times I want to find out where they are to see where I can help them first.
Yeah.
And the idea is my veganness, I guess if you could say, I use that as a way to support people as opposed to a conversation that's a converting conversation. So I can definitely see what you mean and how you kind of manage the V word when people aren't ready. Because that's the thing. I don't know how you feel about it is, but I never want people to be in tears. I never want people to feel like they can't work with me because, because they're maybe not 100% there. I want them to
Right.
be able to get that conversation started.
Yeah. 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 It's just like seeing those movies, we have to see them. We have to see those horror stories, but we can't push people,
Yeah,
when they're not ready. Yeah.
absolutely. And also, I think, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I found, and this is more from experience after I became vegan, is that being kind of a representative of it can also help people naturally get there. Meaning it blows my mind how much, people I went to high school with will reach out to me because, I'm posting things on Facebook about, going vegan and vegan activities and events I go to.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily telling the people I went to high school that you have to go vegan, but by them seeing me live this life, them seeing some of the benefits from them is allowed to kind of see veganism through me, it has created a different perspective in them than if I had called them up individually and said, "Hey, you need to go vegan."
Yeah. Yeah. I try to be a role model. I love to cook. Of course, I can't eat everything I cook because I have a little stomach. So I give food to my neighbors, and people have commented, "What are you cooking? It smells so good in there." Um, you know, and just sharing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, as we're looking at 2021, that's kind of the thing these days, as many of us are doing at the beginning of this year. It's like, what may happen? And, while we don't have maybe the ability to predict what the future will be, do you have any plans this year for your business? Any plans on what you want to hope to kind of accomplish this year? Um, and kind of where do you hope to be maybe if we were chit-chatting again this time in 2022?
I want to build it this year. It's Last year was just kind of, dabbling and trying to figure out, I was going to move out of state as well. And, this year I do want to put more energy into building this business. I
Okay.
do. And reaching more people. Yeah.
What do you think? what do you think you need? Or have you figured out what you think you need to get to that next step? Is it just time? Is
I
it
need
just,
you.
huh? Did you
I need you. I
gonna make
do.
me blush?
Actually, no. I have an appointment set up with you that
Yes.
I want you to be my coach this year and
Oh,
push me.
I didn't even see that coming.
And it's just like, when we talked earlier, it's like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I wanted to be Victoria Moran and Stephanie Redcross. And if
I
I
want to be
can't,
Victoria too.
yeah, she's another rock star. And if I can't be like them, then I'm nothing. And it's, we all have our place in this movement. And yeah.
I love that. I love saying that we all have our place in this movement because I do think it's so important as we build our businesses, as we find our voices, as we start teaching and coaching people. We don't have to be like either people have come before, and we don't have to fit into a box. That's why I love doing sessions like this because I want people to understand, and through your living proof of the diversity and the roles that we can all play from our careers in this kind of plant-based vegan world. I really, really love being able to kind of talk about and help people realize that, there's a place for all of us. There's a place for some of us that are introverts. There are a place for some of us that are more creative in the arts. There's a place for some of us that want to teach through the arts as opposed to, presentations and slides. The idea that do you feel like you are on the journey to find your voice as far as sharing your information out there, or do you feel like you've already found your voice?
Voice like niche, kind of.
A little bit like niche, but also how you want to educate people on what you believe they should know. So how do you want to do it? Your style, do you know what I mean? Like just, the flair that you want to add that becomes you.
I think coming alongside people, partnering with people, I think that's my style. Yeah, I'm more of an introvert. So, doing the lives and all of that, I'm not there yet. Um, but yeah, and I think as things open up, I would like to have a space outside of
Mhm.
my home to work with people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah. I
love
miss
being,
that. I do miss that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely miss seeing people and connecting with people, but I've also been blown away this year and last year, even a little bit this year so far and last year, how many people I've been able to reach and how many people I've been able to see on camera because everyone is used to kind of this interface. And it's so nice to go from just a phone call to camera when you're able to see people. So I've been enjoying a little bit of both. But yeah, I know what you mean. The in person I think is great, but I hope we don't lose this online component too, because
I don't think so. Yeah. I think with teletherapy now too, people got a taste of they don't have to commute, they don't have to go somewhere else. And we've been able to reach so many more people, this way. Imagine not being able to do this when a time where people are hurting so much.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's great because you can find people like in your local community may not be someone who's a perfect match for you, but with things like telehealth,
Yeah.
telemedicine, all of these things are opening it up so that you can start finding the right people to support you through. We just had a note come in from Gloria. I just wanted to say hello to Gloria. She was saying how we all have a place in the movement and how much she was enjoying this. So glad you're able to join us and appreciate Gloria saying that
She's an
she's
introvert.
an introvert. Yeah, because I really feel like the world needs introverts just like we need extroverts. We really, really do because it's a good balance. And also, to get our messages out there, I don't feel like there's one way to do it. And even in a live setting, you can do live and still be an introvert. You just do it in a way that makes you feel comfortable in a way that you want to communicate. So I'm glad that both of you shared that. And I always tell people, even though they don't believe me, when I was younger, I was an introvert. I'm not necessarily the loudest person. I was not the person that always spoke up. But over time, I've found the way I like to express myself. But sometimes I get shy. So I say that to people that don't think you have to be the person that speaks up all the time to get the messaging out. There's so many different ways to share and support people in the world. So, Patricia, as we wrap up today's session, a couple of things I'd love to do. Number one, if someone needs help, if someone needs support, maybe they're planning on surgery, they've had the surgery, they have a family member that's had bariatric surgery, how do they get in touch with you? How do they reach out to you to maybe get some of that support?
Well, I do have a website, Bariatric Vegan lifestylecoaching.com, which when that expires, that domain, I'm going to shorten it. But that's one place. I have a Facebook page, Bariatric Vegan. I have a Facebook support group as well, Bariatric Vegan, and Instagram. And I'm on LinkedIn under my name, Patricia Campana.
Perfect. Now, if people want support, but they're not sure if it falls in the bariatric bucket or not, can they still reach out to you? Or
Yes,
okay,
yes, I'm glad you asked. That's the specialty, but I do work with meal planning. I do work with transitioning. Yeah,
perfect. And I
doesn't
love
have to be weight loss. Yeah,
good. And I love that you also bring your expertise to that coaching. So, bringing in your therapy and so forth, I think is really, really interesting. Any thoughts for anyone who's trying to decide or isn't sure if they should reach out? Do you have any recommendations of if you're experiencing this, if you're worried about this, this is why they should reach out to someone like you for support?
well, definitely if you're considering surgery and you want to be vegan, please reach out to me. We can talk about it. It's not for everybody. And there are weight loss plans that you can do without having the surgery.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you, Patricia, for spending a little bit of time with me today. Thank you so much for giving our audience a glimpse into your day and how you change the world. And I'm so excited about hearing more about what you have planned for this year and getting that business done this year in whatever shape or form it takes.
Yeah.
I really am excited about all the work that you've done so far and the work that you've done to help people. So thank you for your voice. Thank you for the work you do. And I'm really glad we had a chance to chat today.
And thank you so much, Stephanie. I so admire and respect you. And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely. Take care. Thank you, everyone who joined us live. I so get excited when people can join us live. You can also watch this as a replay. If you're listening to us as a podcast, let us know if this inspired you, if this gave you some ideas, or if you were just kind of in a interesting moment because you didn't realize that there are vegans and individuals like Patricia out there changing the world and helping people through things like bariatric surgery. So I really get excited when we get to do these sessions and kind of introduce new individuals and individuals that are changing the world. So thank you everyone for joining. Always give us that love, that thumbs up, the likes. We love seeing those. And we hope to see you in our next session. All right. Bye, everyone.